As Ukraine moves ahead with promised budget cuts and economic overhauls, the Executive Board of the International Monetary Fund on July 31st said in a statement that it had approved the disbursement of about $1.7 billion. The IMF has pledged $17.5 billion in total financial assistance over 4 years, in exchange for drastic measures by the government to restore public finances. Ukraine's newly appointed envoy to the United States hailed the decision. The support of the United States at the IMF was critically important for the disbursement of the funds, which opens up the possibility for Ukraine to also receive $300 million and $200 million in additional funding. According to former Finance Minister Viktor Suslov, loans received from international benefactors will be used to shore up the National Bank of Ukraine's gold reserve. Ukraine currently does not have its own hard currency reserves, which the IMF loans will be used to create. We will depend on IMF credits in the future. IMF Managing Director Christina Lagarde had urged the IMF board to be supportive of Ukraine's efforts this week. The IMF chief also said that the fund was prepared to continue financing Kiev, giving Ukraine's finance ministry leverage in negotiations with the holders of Ukrainian bonds. Details of those negotiations, however, remain confidential. I will do everything in my power to come to a deal quickly with them. The finance ministry does not have any comment on these talks because we have signed a confidentiality agreement. Experts say there could be a write-down of 5%, and this, in and of itself, is a success. According to Oleg Ustenka from the International Blazer Fund, a write-down of 5% would be worth some $750 million, or the equivalent of 1% of Ukraine's gross national product. Ukraine must demonstrate at least $15 billion of savings or risk suspension of the IMF's loan program, which, in turn, would turn off investors. Negotiations with them are far from completion. The IMF this week indicated it would bless a moratorium on Ukraine debt payments in the absence of an agreement with bondholders, saying it can lend to a country even if it is in arrears to private investors.